Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today's reading will be a pick a card. How does this person feel about you? So there's option A with the hematite, option B with the labradorite, option C with pink opal. We'll give you a moment to choose. Just choose the card you're most drawn to and manifest whoever this person is. It might be a friend, it might be a lover, it might be anyone. This is going to be how they view you. So we'll start with option A. This reading will be intuitive, so feel free to follow along. We have body and mind. Although this is an air card, I like to call this the Virgo moon card. This is someone who tends to manifest a lot of stress and anxiety in their body. Someone who often, the body and the mind affect each other. So if you're very stressed, very anxious, or very concerned or absorbed in something, it can manifest in physical symptoms, the same as physical symptoms can affect your psychological well-being. I'm feeling like you're someone here with this mother card. This is someone who is unconditionally loving and nurturing. You have so much to give other people. You're someone who is supportive and structured. You offer them nurturing, you offer them emotional support, you offer them here with this card here, the Queen of Air. This is detached wisdom. You feel like an incredibly mature person who has a lot of responsibilities. Some of you may even have children. You are someone who has a lot to offer here. This is what it's saying. The Queen of Air looks at things with wisdom and objectivity. She doesn't allow emotions to rule her mind. She likes to see the truth. But we have the Ten of Earth in reverse. This is someone who isn't being recognised or reaping rewards for what they've done. I feel like you play a very prominent role in your life. You take on a lot of stresses, especially perhaps some of you take on caring roles or teaching roles or almost like a maternal role, and this is obviously regardless of gender. And you're not reaping the rewards from that you deserve. We have here the Three of Fire. Now that card indicates making sacrifices and learning along the way. It's picking up new skills and it's doing things in an original manner. They see you as someone who does things originally. You don't do things based on how other people tell you to do them. You take things on responsibly in your own way, and you're willing to deal with other people's problems too. There's definitely a sense of you're in a stage of growth. Yeah, there we go, I love that. The unsung hero. The hero card is someone who works often in a role such as paramedic, like lifeguard, doctor, that sort of thing, carer, teacher, anyone who's in a role where they have to almost save people. The hero is a person, an ordinary person. It's like in the novels when you read that person, the poor person from the little village saves the world, and they're not aware of their own potential, and they're not looking for that type of recognition. They're not someone who says, I work at this prestigious care or that sort of saviour role to look good. You're not that type of person. They're actually seeing you as a very positive, energetic, passionate person. They're seeing you almost like a guardian, mother, father, like a very deeply caring, nurturing, passionate, supportive individual with so much potential. The mother also, you have to be aware of the moon. She's the womb. She's fertile. She's growing, and at all times the mother, in that sense, if that is you, you're someone who's capable of nurturing and giving more and more. You're someone who always carries that potential. So that was it for emotion and intellect and the Queen of Fire. Okay, they slipped out at the bottom. I was about to end that there. So with the emotion and intellect, this can mean that your mind and your emotions can be a bit out of balance at sometimes. It can mean that you're perhaps too emotional, or you choose the emotional route when you need to choose the logical one. It can also mean that you tend to choose logic over emotion, because this is a water card. This is someone who perhaps rationalises their feelings a little bit at times and neglects their sense of self, and that could be related to this. Like, mothers tend to make a lot of sacrifices, and it feels like you almost carry that energy. You're very self-sacrificial. The Queen of Fire is someone who is very sensual, pleasure-seeking, and that you're someone who it feels like maybe you repress those feelings. Perhaps you bottle up your feelings, or they manifest in a negative area of your life. Perhaps you put too much aside for other people and you don't gain enough for yourself. It feels like here, or it could feel like perhaps things stress you a lot behind the scenes, and it causes you to not feel appreciated, or to perhaps to feel resentful of others at times. This is a very positive reading, so that's option A. We'll move on to option B. We have the King of Water in reverse. This indicates emotional imbalance. Someone who's very stressed, someone who can think with emotion over logic type of thing. Yes, we have another emotional card, but this here, they see you as someone who's about to reap potential very good rewards from long-term hard work, but they're also seeing you as someone who goes with the flow of life. It's almost like you... It definitely feels like you're a very emotional person if you chose this group in the Destiny. There we go. I feel like you're in a fluid state of life and you perhaps haven't found your purpose or your destiny. This person is looking at you as though you're someone who is a little bit off course, like going with the flow. There's a slight hippie thing. You are working towards something and gaining it, but I feel like in terms of your emotional fulfillment in a specific area, you aren't finding what you want. Integrity. Here it goes. It's asking you to be yourself. I feel like there's an aspect of you that's feeling strained due to perhaps not necessarily a lack of integrity, but you're having to uphold your integrity, and it's also meaning to beware of doing things that could be fraudulent or damaging to other people. They see you though as integral, that you are true to yourself. They see you as sort of very fluid, very emotional, but perhaps a little bit off the path. Here's a card of altruism, of giving to others, of saying, I enjoyed this book. I haven't read it again in over a year or 2 years or however much. I like it, but I'm going to give it so someone else can love it. In reverse here, it can mean that you're not being altruistic enough, that you're perhaps being very hung up on something, very closed off, and not very charitable with others. This is a card of like charity, of giving, of not seeking pleasure or confidence in your possessions. And there we go, have death and rebirth. This person sees you on a sort of a very challenging mixed journey at the moment. This might be someone in your life, if it were a romantic partner, they might see you in a way as unstable, but I feel like for you this is a period of growth, of coming into your true self, of learning to live with life. And perhaps in a way here, some of you might not necessarily not being generous enough, but you've perhaps stopped being overly giving. There's a sense of rebirth here, that you're coming into a new stage of life, that you're in a new era, and anything could come out of this. You're learning to be someone, you're in a growing pains period, and this person's quite aware of that. I hope that was beneficial if you picked 2. B. Let's move on to this one. Oh, I love this card. We have the Ace of Air. That's a new ideology. That's coming into something. That's being aware of deception. And it's also being aware that you shouldn't be deceptive with others. Thinking isn't always black and white. This person sees you as someone who is very hard to get one up. They sees you as someone who perhaps has very highly critical thinking skills. Perhaps to a degree you have a black and white mindset. This gives Libra energy. Someone who doesn't necessarily put their emotions into their thoughts. They tend to rationalise things and see things in a cut and dry this and that type of way. I feel like they might be seeing that you're coming into new ideas about this and a lack of deception. You're someone who's very aware. You're aware that you don't have what you want. You're aware of... You're aware you don't have what you want because you're lacking in some training or some knowledge for it. They're seeing you as someone who is open-minded, very communicative, very balanced, very sort of someone who has a very unique, almost like an air sign type of thinking. But when it's coming to manifesting something in your life, they're seeing you as someone who doesn't have everything you want. In terms, especially of work, I'm seeing this as something to do with work or creativity. It's often stability, money, gaining what you want, great happiness, a new opportunity, building a big life type of energy. Intuition. And there we go, we have an intuitive person here as well. You don't have what you want. You aren't necessarily, you might even be sort of telling people you have things that you don't at the moment. There's almost an area that you've opened up to a line of deception, that you're not getting what you want perhaps out of a specific area of your life. You're someone who's very acutely and internally aware of things. Again here, there's another lack of manifestation with you. This could also be considered like the Two of Pentacles in reverse. It's someone who could potentially have a bit of financial imbalance, who isn't making plans, who isn't sowing seeds. Telling stories. It feels like you're in a stage, there's an aspect of a stage of listening and being withdrawn in yourself as opposed to being open with others. It's like you felt like you've been deceived, so you're not going to show your true self. It's like you're withholding things almost from someone, especially a member of the family. I'm feeling like they're seeing you as someone who is struggling to provide materially or in terms of other resources for your family, your household or yourself, because you're feeling closed off due to this aspect of perhaps betrayal you've recently been through. I'm definitely seeing you as someone who is very intelligent and very aware of these problems, but also someone who tends to allow their ego to rule them. They think of you as someone who's ruled by your ego, and if you say, well, if you're going to deceive me, then I'm not going to do anything for anyone, type of thing. I'm going to be the sort of the regressive father who doesn't follow his own rules, who has expectations of others that they don't follow, that this person doesn't provide in the way that they should. I feel like they feel as though you can be a little bit in a way selfish or closed off, especially when it becomes material resources. So that's it for group 3, and if you enjoyed the video, please like, comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next one.